Okay, I see the live button. Okay.
We are live. We are live. This is your girl, Tequila Shabazz with the Bridge Embassy. I am so happy that you all have decided to join us this evening when you could be doing anything else. But it is chock full of information as we are joined with Darlene Tate. Now, this is an exceptional follow-up to the interview that we had yesterday with the infamous Tamika Grant, founder of Sassy Reese and the Sassy Thrifters movement, who told us all about her love and closeness to the art of thrifting and creativity, and how her love for this and her hobby turned into an enterprise in which now she has Sassy Thrifter bus tours. She has flea markets. She gives back as far as philanthropy to our communities. And so we're going to keep the conversation going on building wealth. And we are joined today by author, serial entrepreneur, and dynamic woman who I had an opportunity of sharing a panel with. I think this was last month, and learned so much. Her personality is infectious and her wisdom is abundant. So grab your popcorn, grab your tea, grab whatever you need. This is one that you don't want to miss. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Darlene Tate, and I will let her begin to tell you about her history, how she started out, and how we got here to the 10th year anniversary of the Self Employment Expo. Welcome, Darlene.
Thank you so much, Tequila. I am honored to be here. And I got to tell you, I really appreciate you. You give me an opportunity to reach your audience. And it's a question I get often. How did you start? Where did you come up with the idea for the Self Employment Expo? Well, we go back a little while, ways back. Every job I had since I was 17, I was always thinking of some sort of business that I could have where that job could be my client. And
Right.
so when I was in my early 20s, I started an apartment locator service. While I was a property manager. When I was at a television station working there, it's so funny because that's when I started my board game company. So I realized that I had to either make a decision, I had to keep the job or, put my energies in my business. I came up with the Self Employment Expo because people kept asking me questions like, well, how do you start your own business? How do you step out there? Weren't you scared? What are the steps to make it happen? And I realized that for me, because I come from an entrepreneurial family, a lot of the questions that I had, I could go to my mother or my dad, my sisters, my brothers, all basically owned businesses. But not everybody was able to do that. So I came up with an idea. I said, well, what if I had like a little expo where we would be able to give people this information and also give them the options for self-employment, whether it's how to be a realtor or how to be an insurance agent or, different opportunities to multi-level marketing. So the Self-Employment Expo actually used to be called the Small Business Expo. Yeah, years ago. And I started in a shopping mall. And one of the people that attended, would go from the vendor to vendor and look at the different opportunities. And they said, it would be great if you had seminars. And that's all it took was that one suggestion. And so in 2000, I want to say 2009, we moved to dedicated locations and incorporated seminars, workshops, and we kept it free to attend. And it just took off. And so, in our 10th year anniversary, I can say that we have literally helped hundreds of people become successfully self-employed through the Self-Employment Expo.
Great. So tell us a little bit more about what a person can expect. I mean, the title, I'm glad that you changed that title, actually, and I said it to you countless times in our conversations that it was a very smart branding and marketing move. Why? Because there are tons of small business expos, but there are not a lot of self-employment expos. And in a time of DIY and do-it-yourself, people are looking for more and more opportunities to enhance, their bottom line and their homes. They, cost of living has gone up, everything has gone up. So one job is not enough, but a person only has so much time, right? So when a person comes into the Self-Employment Expo, what is it that they can find? Who are your ideal vendors, right? And then who are your ideal attendees?
Well, that's an excellent question. First of all, I'm going to answer your first question. What they will find is an event that encompasses everything self-employment, entrepreneurship, and business ownership. So we, have seminars and workshops throughout the day that covers a myriad topics, from self-publishing to some inspiration and motivational speaks. As a matter of fact, this year we have Art Chat Daddy Sims from WVON. He's going to be giving, a 1 hour talk on how to reinvent yourself. So you'll find so much at the Self-Employment Expo. Our ideal vendor, this is not a consumer, where you're going to come out and buy a bunch of things. We're all about empowering you to start your own business and become successfully self-employed. So our ideal vendor has some sort of business opportunity or product or service that will help someone start a business or build their existing business to the goals that they've attained for themselves, whether it's their financial goals, getting more customers. So our vendors are marketing companies, they're direct sell companies, they are web designers, insurance agencies, real estate agencies, anything or anyone that can provide a service that's going to help that aspiring entrepreneur reach their goals. And we were talking earlier, I went to the Black Women's Expo, had a great time, and oh my gosh, fabulous business owners, a lot of Black-owned businesses. I was just beside myself with happiness. But and that's how I feel when I, encounter so many Black-owned businesses. But I was able to snag an intellectual property attorney to give just a 30-minute breakout session on patents, copyrights, trademarks. So what will they find? They'll find everything that they need. And if it's not there, there's somebody there that can get it to them.
Yes. And I love, Darlene, that a couple things you said, the motivational speaker, keynote motivational speaker for the day is Art Chat Daddy with Reinventing Yourself. And trust me, for all those who are pursuing entrepreneurship or those who are very familiar with the path of entrepreneurship, it's something that you have to be flexible on. You may have had your eyes set out on one vision, but you will find that the culture that you are developing dictates something else. So that's a very, very important topic. You have to readjust yourself if you've transitioned from corporate into becoming an entrepreneur. So you totally have to reinvent yourself, your thinking, all of that. And you also mentioned that this is not consumer based. So it's not an event where people will come out and they will shop, but what you will be able to shop for is opportunity, right? It's even greater than jewelry, and a nice skirt and some killer heels, right? All of that is better. Why? Because you are increasing your human capital. And at Bridge, we talk a lot about the different forms of capital. In this case, we're talking about human capital. It's the things that you know and the experience that you have, and how can you cultivate that in order to monetize off of your ability, your skills. So that's extremely important. And then the fact that you're going to have an intellectual properties attorney in the building. You guys, you don't understand the importance of patents, trademarks, and copyrights. It is what protects you. You cannot send yourself a letter in the mail thinking that that's going to protect you. It's not. You have to be ready to invest from $100 to thousands of dollars in that which you say you are passionate about. So that is critical. Very, very rarely do you find that at any expo. So I'm very happy that you have included an intellectual property lawyer into the expo. And moving into that, you mentioned something that we love to hear here at Bridge is the support of other Black businesses. As a Black business owner yourself, you know how important it is for us to send positive messages and imagery out in support of Black businesses overall, because we all win. But in our communities, we have it so bad throwing our businesses under the bus, and not just an individual business, but we will lump all. This is why I don't support all, Black businesses when we have one bad experience. So talk to me about some of the positive experiences that you have had with Black businesses, some that you support directly, whether here or outside of your work.
Well, you know what, and I'm glad that you asked. Of course, I'm a Black-owned business. I also own a board game manufacturing company as well. So, and I know firsthand that when it comes to supporting Black-owned businesses, and this is my opinion, this is what I believe, that is how we are going to gain the economic empowerment that we really need for our communities to thrive. We have to get away from that. We are the only people that will say, we'll put our own businesses down. We got to stop that. So, and I'm going to do a sidebar. Someone told me a long time ago, if you have a bad experience, especially with a Black-owned business, don't just walk away and spread poison on that business. Go to that business and say, this is what happened, and this is how my experience was as a result of that. Give that Black-owned business an opportunity to make an adjustment, because Black-owned businesses face different challenges than any of our other counterparts, okay? And that's not an excuse. That's a reality. To that end, and I'm coming off my soapbox now, to that end, I support Black-owned businesses at least 4 to 5 times a week. That's to make sure that the money continues to circulate in our community. In most cases, for every $3 that comes into the Black community that we spend as African Americans, 2 of those dollars leave. And that's because those business owners take that money back to their community. All right.
That's right.
So we want to keep that money in our community. So the Sip and Savor, where I broadcast my radio show from, Black-owned. You're right. There's another Black-owned coffee shop over in Bronzeville by the library on 35th, Black-owned coffee shop. Make sure that, where I have my lunch, I go over to Bronzeville to Ain't That Sweet.
Fire.
Yeah, look, a lot of people don't know this. Lighthouse Grill in Hyde Park on 53rd Street, owned by Eric Nance. Just opened Mickey's Old Fashioned Grill, owned by Eric Nance over there. So, if we look, we will find our Black-owned businesses, and we employ people that look like us. Oftentimes we are able to, give our youth the training that they need. Okay, jobs are great. If it wasn't for the jobs that I've had, I would not have honed some of the skills that I need to be successful. As Black entrepreneurs, we lift our own children up and their neighbors and their friends and our nieces and nephews. So we're really training the next generation of Black entrepreneurs. So it's too many reasons to list why it's important that we support our own businesses.
That's right. And, Darlene mentioned something that's really important and that we emphasize a lot at the Bridge Be Black Academy. And that is when we have a negative experience with one of our businesses, it is critical that we reach out to these businesses and try to just alert them on some of the things that, we've experienced and that others may be saying about their business, because more likely than not, like Darlene mentioned, they're going through issues of shortage of capital, which means a shortage of capacity, which means that, your customer service call may not be answered in 2 minutes like you're accustomed to with some of the major corporations, but it may take 24 hours. That's when you extend your human capital and say, how can I help? Or who can I put you in touch with? Or there are some young people out here that could use internships to help you out. You know, this is the way that we need to start thinking, right? So
Yeah.
what I'm going to do for the audience here, because I know that you guys are anxiously awaiting to ask Mrs. Darlene Tate some questions. I am going to open up the Q&A box for you to ask any questions. If you're joining us via YouTube, feel free to leave questions in the comment box. I'll make sure that Darlene gets those questions. Or if you're joining us from Google, ask in the Q&A box, or just go ahead and submit a question. Let's talk about, Darlene, we talked about your history a little bit. We talked about accountability. And I want to just go back before we talk about the impact of the Self Employment Expo for those who decide to either attend or vend, that rhymes, attend or vend the event. Let's talk about, you know, you're a serial entrepreneur. So let's talk a little bit about the book you wrote and why you wrote it. Which also has a very interesting title, which I'll let her tell you. And then also the game that you manufactured and the success of that game. Just really quickly tell us about those two things.
Well, the first one, the game, actually, my mother invented the game, helping my nephew, her grandson, with a homework assignment, which is Rhyming Time. And it is the fast-paced game of wacky rhyming fun. And my sister and I decided to take a leap of faith and make an investment into manufacturing that game, you know, and fast forward, we've sold 10,000 copies of Rhyming Time. And so the name of the game company is Laugh Alike Games, and we're transitioning into game apps. And I'm actually in my home office, which is at what I like to call Mama's house. So that's where I'm sitting at right now. And the book I wrote, Take Off Your Pajamas. One thing, I've worked from home for nearly 20 years. And so there's certain habits that I've developed which have been very helpful to me. And so people ask me, so I decided to write the book. They asked me, well, you know, what do you do? Well, one thing I remembered is that I had to change my mindset. I had to change the way I thought about business ownership. And I realized that I thought like an employee when I first started my businesses because that's what I was accustomed to. So I interviewed some very successful business owners. I looked at some things that worked for me, and I came up with the book, Take Off Your Pajamas. How to shift mindset. Yeah. You know, people are like, take off your pajamas. But it's it's really a metaphor that says, hey, if you work from home, treat it like your place of business, you know, because you got to get out of that lounging around in your pajamas comfort zone. You got to treat your business like the business that it is. So that's why I wrote the book, Take Off Your Pajamas.
Yes. And there is no greater truth spoken than what Darlene is saying right now. It definitely is a transition of mindset. It is definitely, I mean, when we were on the panel, one of the things that I talked about is the level of optimism I had coming into self-employment, because I could bring in millions of dollars in sales for these major corporations. But what I wasn't prepared for is the fact that in those major corporations, they have systems set up that prepare me to be successful. I literally had to become the system when I transitioned from corporate into self-employment. And there are things that I am still learning, and I'm just hitting the 3-year mark. And you heard from Darlene herself. She's been doing this for over 2 decades. So a wealth of wisdom. Please feel free to drop any questions that you may have. Darlene, again, where is the Self-Employment Expo? Where is it located? What days? And what special offer do you have for our viewers?
Yes, well, this year it is May 14th. It will be held at the Holiday Inn Conference Center in Matson, Illinois. Of course, that's right off I-57 and Lincoln Highway. And it is from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. The cost to attend is free to attend, as it has always been for 10 years. And for our exhibitors, and again, our exhibitors will be exposed to hundreds of qualified leads, because the people that come to the Self-Employment Expo are looking specifically for what our exhibitors have to offer. So what we're doing today, you know, for the Bridge Embassy is we're offering new exhibitors the rate that our existing exhibitors receive. So our normal rate,
Yay.
yeah. And, and we like to treat people well. People have supported this expo. I have exhibitors that have been with us since we were in River Oaks Mall, So we give our existing exhibitors a price break. Our exhibit spaces range anywhere from $250 and up, but for Bridge Embassy members and contacts and friends and families, it's only $150. That also,
Woo!
I know, right? That's what I call a deep discount. And it also comes with a line advertising in the Self Employment Expo guide as well. So, a great deal. But more than anything, our exhibitors not only get qualified leads, and you can go to the website and you'll see the testimonials right there from past exhibitors on selfemploymentexpo.com. But the networking is phenomenal. It is phenomenal because not only are you going to be networking with the attendees, you'll be networking with the other businesses that are there exhibiting. And because it is our 10th year anniversary, we're going to go over to Bar Louie.
What?
Yeah, and have a little celebration, a little networking celebration. So I tell you, I'm so excited about this year's 10th annual Self-Employment Expo.
And I want to take this time to insert this because this is extremely exciting. And I don't want our audience to get discouraged because you heard Bar Louie or Holiday. I don't want you to get discouraged by where the businesses that she's supporting. Please understand in this work that we do that there are some things we don't have. Number one, where she's actually hosting the event, she had to go with that space because of the accommodations that they have for her. Is this your first year in that space, or did you tell me this was your second year?
This is my first year in that space, and you're absolutely right because, and I'm just going to insert this. What's really nice is when you see a deficit in a certain area, you have an opportunity to begin to brainstorm, especially when you're a Black entrepreneur. How can I fill that void? And that was one thing I realized. Like I had my birthday party over at the Quarry, which is a Black-owned space that you can rent for your party. But there is no Black-owned really conference center that I'm aware of in the Chicagoland area. So of course my wheels started spinning a long time ago.
That's right.
Change that.
That's absolutely correct. That's absolutely correct, Darlene. And that's one of the really big, important works that we do at Bridge by tracking capital, the time and the dollars. And it not only tells us what restaurants are popular, what industries are popping, but it also tells us, like you mentioned, where we are lacking, where are the other areas in which we're not spending our money, and why. Because if you have a group of people that are intentional about supporting Black businesses and you see that certain monies aren't going in certain industries, you have to question the availability of those services and or those products, which for us means innovation, everybody. That is innovation. And Darlene talked about that. And of course, she would say that because she's a serial entrepreneur. So her wheels would be going for those opportunities. So one more time, the date and the address of the location and the time.
The date is Saturday, May 14th. It's from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. It is at the Holiday Inn Conference Center in Matson, Illinois. What I would request is we request that everybody register online at selfemploymentexpo.com. That's whether you're attending or exhibiting. That way we can kind of keep you abreast of things that's going on for the following years. It helps us to keep this event free to attend. I believe that the information that you receive in terms of helping you attain the entrepreneurial goals that you've set for yourself, this information is valuable. And I want as many people as possible to get it. And that's why we always make sure that it's free to attend. So just go to the website, which is selfemploymentexpo.com. All of the information is there. Register to attend, register to exhibit. It's May 14th. It's an all-day, nonstop, fun-filled, information-filled event. Then you will not be disappointed.
So what Darlene is saying, it's filled with human capital and opportunity that you don't want to miss. That is Saturday, May 14th at the Matson Holiday Inn Conference Center. Afterwards, we will be going over, and you heard me say we, because I will definitely be in the building. We'll be going over to Bar Louie, and no, Bar Louie is not Black owned, but it was the nearest restaurant to the location. So we're trying to accommodate those who are in the building. One thing that we will do moving forward, and that I do now, but I shouldn't even say moving forward, but something that I stress is, we have a lot of businesses in our community and outside of our communities that we patronize, right? 98% of our dollars are going into non-Black businesses, which means, for me, I hear opportunity. And that means that those businesses that are receiving our dollars, the same way I would call a Black business and ask how they're supporting our community, I would do the same for those businesses that are not Black. You know, you're receiving X amount of dollars from the Black community. How much of those dollars are going back into the development of the Black community? That is a question that we have to keep on our lips. So I want us to make sure that we come out, especially those of us that are looking for opportunity or those of us that are simply curious. I want us to come out Saturday, May 14th. You know how we do it at BIBA. We go ahead and we mob out. So you want to definitely show up. If you're a vendor, this is an opportunity you don't want to miss. Darlene said that the price is $150. I'm sorry, $250 or more, but she's offering it to you for only $150. And how do they redeem that promo, and how long is that promo going on, Darlene?
Well, this is how they redeem it. Go on to the website, which is selfemploymentexpo.com. Go to exhibitors. When you complete your exhibit application, which is, it's very brief, at the bottom, it's going to say something like, do you have a promotional code? Just put in BRIDGE, B-R-I-J. Okay. And when it comes, you know, to us, we'll know that you saw us this evening and you're entitled to that discount, because on the website, it still says $250. So put in BRIJ in the promotional box when you complete your exhibitor application. We're going to run this special. Through, I want to say, April 22nd. I extended it. It was going to only be April 17th. We're going to run it through April 22nd. So, and what you want to do is get up there as soon as possible, because with the Self Employment Expo, we don't allow more than one exhibitor per company. So for instance, if we have a Mary Kay exhibitor already, we won't allow a second one. That's another thing that our exhibitors love. They're not going to find the same company there, you know, representing. They get some level of exclusivity with the Self Employment Expo. You know, so, and another thing, and I want to encourage you guys, even if you're not going to exhibit, remember you want to attend. Even if you're already a business owner, there are going to be businesses there that can offer you products and services to help you build your existing business, or, you know, make improvements. So you still want to come. And I always tell people, tell a friend. You know, tell your cousin, tell your mate, tell a friend, tell your people at work, because this event, the Self Employment Expo, happens once a year. It is an annual event. We are considering moving it to other cities, including other cities, rather, starting next year. But Chicago will always be home. Chicago will always be number one. So make sure that you go to the website, which is selfemploymentexpo.com. Click exhibitors and complete the exhibit application, and put in the promotional box at the bottom, BRIJ. Okay. Yeah, BRIJ. You know, and I want to thank everybody that signed in today to kind of listen and learn a little bit about myself, but more importantly, about the importance of supporting our businesses. I mean, this is the best way, to keep that money in our community. And this is the best way for us to determine how that money is allocated. Okay. So for me, it's a way to be proactive, and be in front of a lot of the issues that may or may not come into our community, is to keep our dollars there and keep our businesses in the community. And if you're interested in starting a business, make sure you attend some of the seminars and workshops. Off the top of my head, I know that we have right now, I believe 8. So we have self-publishing. We've got, of course, Art Chat Daddy Sims, who is going to do the art of reinventing yourself. We also have State Farm is going to be given a wonderful seminar about how to retire in style. And that is one thing. I used to be a State Farm agent many, many years ago. And the one thing I realized sometimes about entrepreneurs and self-employed professionals is that we forget that we have to retire someday. So make sure, especially if you work for yourself, or even if you are still on the job, you want to attend that seminar, How to Retire in Style. We also have Terrence Leftridge, who's going to be talking. He is the Unstoppable Coach. And then we also have Deidre Benson. She's going to be talking about how you can go from fear to being fierce. And a lot of people that think about starting a business, sometimes fear holds them back. They know, all of the ABCs and 1, 2, 3s to starting a business, but, they need that extra for them to step on out there on faith. So you'll find the information for those seminars online. And of course, I mentioned earlier, we're going to have an intellectual property attorney. So if you've ever I have a copyright, I have a couple of non-provisional patents. If you've ever had an idea, and we've all had a great idea, but you had no idea how to go about patenting it or how to copyright it or what trademarking is, you want to be here at the IP, because she's going to cover copyrights, trademarks. She's also going to cover the different types of patents, utility, and design. So needless to say, it's going to be a great day filled with lots of information. So go to www, of course, .selfemploymentexpo.com. If you're going to exhibit, click on exhibitor, and that will take you to our exhibit page where you'll see a lot of the testimonials from past exhibitors and their experiences with the Self-Employment Expo. If you're attending, just click attend or attendee on our website and be sure to complete all of the information. Again, because if you register, it kind of helps us to make sure that we keep the event free. It's not free. It's not a cost to attend. It's always free to attend. All that we ask is that you register. And this year we may also be having a Shark Tank-like competition, which we call the Build Your Business competition. And it's a 2-minute elevator pitch. So be on the lookout for that as well. All right. So I'm going to say it one more time. May 14th, Holiday Inn Conference Center in Matteson, Illinois. It is from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Make sure you bring your friend and your neighbor and your coworker with you so they can get this information too.
That is so awesome, Darlene. I am so happy that you joined us this evening. And we definitely are going to be posting that deal so that people can take advantage of that until April 22nd. You literally have about 2 days left. And that will be all for our episode today. Make sure that you join us tomorrow for Star Crest and Decorating. But make sure for the next 24 hours, the business that we're supporting and we're promoting is our good friend Darlene Tate's Self Employment Expo going on Saturday, May 14th. All of the details will be posted in the event page as well as YouTube. Thanks again, Darlene, for joining us. Have a great evening. And for all, remember to be Black, give Black, and love Black.